Something weird happened almost every time Leon was on screen. His mannerisms portrayed a man who was as alone as he was dangerous. And I may be overthinking it, but is Leon Montana on the autism spectrum? I am not a medical professional, nor do I have any expertise in mental health care, other than dealing with moderate obsessive-compulsive disorder in my everyday. All I can do is read articles from reputable sources, digest their information, then connect that to brief nuggets of time spent with a fictional character. This video will not be a comprehensive examination of autism. It's only a rough checklist of moments that I feel support my theory. I welcome calm, respectful, and informed comments about why I'm wrong. For this video, I'm looking at Leon the Professional from 4 perspectives: emotional and interpersonal, professional, social and expressive, and private. Emotional and interpersonal involves a difficulty making friends or personal connections, and a difficulty expressing one's own feelings and emotions, to the point of being unmotivated to connect with others and preferring solitude. Professional involves a hyper-focus on a specific interest, which also includes monopolizing conversations with that specific interest, and sharpening skills to notice details and patterns that others do not. Social and expressive involves a difficulty in understanding social clues, and the overall feeling of not fitting in or being an outsider, to the point of developing abnormal habits with eye contact and body language. And private involves a preference for a rigid daily routine, with a preference to plan things meticulously beforehand, to the point of suffering great anxiety over unexpected changes. Emotional and interpersonal evidence is by far the most prominent. Leon adheres to a simple and very solitary lifestyle, who is unmotivated to help even in a situation that is, without a doubt, not ideal. He fails to provide Mathilda with comforting words when she needed them, and he really agonized over saving her life by opening his door. Afterward, he revealed his confusion about her overall emotional state. And I'm certain that almost shooting her in her sleep counts toward being unmotivated to connect, followed by trying to boot her to the curb the very next morning. Later on, he joyfully compares himself to a plant removed from nature, then fails to notice the awkward bedroom eyes of a troubled 12-year-old. He has Mathilda describe what falling in love feels like instead of putting an end to that kind of talk, and he even misinterprets her explanation because he hadn't felt that before, despite Tony revealing that he had been in a relationship. The evidence from the professional perspective is much more obvious. Leon's care of his plant is more specific to that one rather than a love of plants in general, and the status of hitman invades every aspect of his life, all the way down to a hyper-focus on cleanliness and durability. He uses a knife in the opening scene, so we know he's been at this for a very, very long time, and his relationship with Mathilda grows only by sharing this one interest. In fact, he's quite domineering about her fitting into his daily routine, to the point of Mathilda's overall misery, despite asking for this very lifestyle. But of course, he's not all talk, and his hyper-focus rewards him with a skill set few others in the world possess. The evidence for the social and expressive perspective is a little harder to pin down. He wears glasses to hide his eye contact, but they're kind of a work uniform. They're on his face here because he's carrying his weapons, not because of Mathilda. He seems to relax when in isolation of an old movie theater, but he is watching a classic. Now, his illiteracy does contribute to his inability to fit in with society, and he does demonstrate great distress in navigating an emotional situation. Again, he's visibly anxious at the prospect of small talk with a hotel clerk, then tries to recreate whatever emotion he thinks Tony is expecting. This is further compounded by his difficulty in asking for his own money. Finally, the private perspective evidence is found throughout the movie. Leon's rigid routine is known to anyone who pays attention, and shown to us by a montage of meticulous chores that he performs. His routine does not include a bed, as evidenced by his odd placement of this blanket. Mathilda confirms for us his routine is literally all he does. However, he does allow her to make changes to his routine, despite the anxiety. One common trait of autism that Leon does not possess is an aversion to eye contact. He doesn't squirm in front of Mathilda or Tony, nor even any random stranger in the world, like that hotel clerk. A preference to plan things ahead is another common trait Leon does not have, because he appears to improvise everything on the spot when doing a job, trusting in the skill set he's honed instead of a well-laid plan. Additionally, quite a few of his mannerisms can also be explained by him being an illiterate immigrant who's manipulated by a crime boss. But then again, the comfort he derives from his lifestyle behind closed doors might suggest that Leon went undiagnosed his entire life. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe there isn't anything deeper to Leon than the fish out of water character we met. And maybe Luc Besson merely created a non-threatening killer for a vulnerable girl to bond with. But I kinda like my theory better, so I'm rolling with it. Until next time, keep reading between them lines. Hey, are you subscribed? Would you kindly like and maybe comment on this video? And maybe a couple others on the video too? I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.